Let's go.
Strong signal. Station.
We're rolling. We're gonna go in 7, 6, 5, 4,
Bringing you on the front line and beyond the headlines.
Outside the wire.
Outside the wire.
Here's a great illustration of why only ignorant, liberal dupes listen to Michael Moore. In his latest letter to the world, Moore closed with, "Pennsylvania, the state that gave birth to this great country, has a chance to set things right. It has not had a moment to shine like this since 1787, when our Constitution was written there. In that Constitution, they wrote that a black man or woman was only 3/5 human. On Tuesday, the good people of Pennsylvania have a chance for redemption." Who wrote that a black man or woman was only 3/5 human, and why? Michael, it turns out that the South during the era of slavery wanted to include blacks so they could increase the number of pro-slavery congressional representatives. It took 30,000 people to get one congressman, and in enslaved states, slaves outnumbered whites. It was the Southern hope that with enough pro-slavery congressmen, they could squash much of the abolitionist sentiment Northerners had previously passed. Oh, and by the way, many of the abolitionists later formed the Republican Party. Anyway, there was one philosophical problem. Blacks in Southern states had no rights, thus the North deemed it a joke they only be counted when beneficial to the South. Northern abolitionists argued that since the South considered blacks their property, all property should be counted for the purpose of determining congressional representation. Thus, the Northern abolitionists would include their property, horses, cattle, homes, furniture, pets, etc. The South denounced the proposal, so anti-slavery Northerner James Wilson of Pennsylvania came up with a compromise. Blacks in the Southern states would only be counted as 3/5 of a person. That way, it would take 50,000 people instead of 30,000 in a district to get congressional representation. That had the effect of limiting the power of the slave states. It had nothing to do with the worth of a person, Michael. It had everything to do with diminishing the power of Southern races like those today that continue to distort the history of an entire people purely for political gain. Get your facts straight before you recite historically inaccurate BS to your fans. You would never engage in misinformation, would you? Well, this is a fine how do you do. The very Democrats, including Barack Obama, who insinuate that Republicans are a party of bigots, have found the formula for victory within their own party: the politics of race and fear. According to Mary Mitchell of the Chicago Sun-Times, Clinton loses 11 consecutive races, and the photograph of Senator Barack Obama in Somalian garb shows up. Clinton falls behind in pledged delegates and gets caught in a lie about her Bosnia adventure, and the Reverend Jeremiah Wright story reignites. On Philadelphia radio, Bill Clinton accused the Obama campaign of playing the race card while denying he said that a day later. Barack Obama has sewn up the youth vote, indoctrinated with the ideal that affirmative action on the presidential campaign level is one whose time has come. Hillary Clinton, despite the pride Democrats boast with the historical possibilities of this campaign, is playing upon the no longer inert racist concerns some have with having a black man in the White House. Apparently it's working for Hillary, and after her Pennsylvania primary victory, we're assured of hearing more cloaked race talk from Bill and her surrogates as the race to the Denver convention drags on. It would appear the only way Hillary Clinton can win the Democrat nomination is to convince the superdelegates that a black man cannot beat John McCain, and without being an elitist, Democrats are not ready to shuck their deep-seated racism and give the reins of power to a black Obama. A woman, yes. A black man, no. For that reason, she's the only person who can beat the Republican. There are those pesky polls that say over 50% of the voting public wouldn't vote for her under any circumstances. But that was then, and she's a new and improved Hillary now. Indeed, given that Governor Ed Rendell, who is leading Clinton's campaign in Pennsylvania, has said publicly that conservative whites would not vote for Obama because he is black, Obama could have had a lot more to say about the mindset of rural voters in that state. Clinton, who has not once challenged Rendell's disgraceful stereotype of Pennsylvania voters as racist, has consistently seized upon polarizing issues in an effort to boost her campaign. While throwing their fellow white Democrats under the very bus where they can sit in front, the Clintons seemingly care not about the widening racial chasm their strategy is creating in America. Now, while this doesn't surprise me, as I believe Democrats want an impoverished black community that will continue to vote for promises never kept, the potential jacking of the nomination from Obama is a floor covered with eggshells a rhythm-challenged Hillary will have difficulty dancing around. In 2008, we are far from being the long-dreamt-of colorblind society we wish to be. In their quest for the presidency, the Clintons may be doing more to divide our nation than any macaca moment could ever do. What's unfortunate is that she is doing this on purpose. Bill and Hillary Clinton are living their 60s mantra of by any means necessary. Whatever it takes to win, they will do. And they've found their formula. If by encouraging the Democrat superdelegates to ignore millions of popular voters and nominate her, she will gladly replace the near 8 years of blaming Republicans, of disenfranchising, with a whopper of her own. What she's done to Michigan and Florida, she will gladly do to the nation in order to win a presidency she believes is her birthright. If she polarizes the nation along racial lines, it's a small price to pay to get what she wants. Imagine what Hillary Clinton will feel she can do as president. There are those pesky polls that say over 50% of the voting public, pesky poll. Indeed, given that Governor Ed Rendell, who is leading conservative whites, would not vote for Obama because he is black, Obama could have had a What she's done to Michigan and Florida, she will gladly do to the nation in order to win a presidency. What she's done to Michigan and Florida, she will gladly do to the nation in order to win a presidency. To win a presidency she believes is her birthright. If she polarizes the nation along racial lines, it's a small price. Oh, hi.
If you put your daughter out there as a surrogate, representing and pushing votes for you, and then to say, well, but no one can ask her any questions, horse pucky. That is absolutely, positively wrong. And again, I think it's a great question. Why isn't the mainstream media asking that?
Horse pucky?
Well, it's as good as I could get. It's as good. I'm trying to keep it clean, Bob.
Okay, Mr. Milk Toast. Okay.